Hi guys, this is Andres again. I'm gonna take you to another of our virtual tours and I'll bring you back to Brazil, one of my favorite countries. But this time to the southeast of Brazil, to the area that is called the Atlantic Forest, the Mata Atlântica. Let me show you on the map. This is the big Brazil. Here, this is the Pantanal. And this short tour that is only 7 nights takes place just around here in the southeast part of Brazil. You see, the whole of the Brazil interior is quite dry, but here, this particular portion of the Mata Atlântica, you can see that it is a little bit greener, and that it's because there is a mountain range that creates a rain shadow, and all along the coast in here, we have a humid area that it is great for a lot of endemic birds that occur between Sao Paulo, a bit south of that, and Rio de Janeiro, a bit north of that. So yeah, let's start. Our tour starts in the huge metropolis of Sao Paulo, but we hardly touch it. We land at the airport of Guarulhos, and the next day, after arrival day, we take the road and move towards the coast. Um, on the way, you can see that there is some dry habitats. We go for a few things that we can find in these dry habitats. These streamer tail tyrants are probably the number one target in this particular wetland that we stop at. Looking for those, doing this spectacular um, displays when they get pissed with my playback. We see some of the widely distributed birds there that are good for the particular tour. This is a black-capped Donacobius. Chestnut-capped blackbird is always around wetlands. Very nice bird of Brazil. Grassland sparrow. This is probably the only place that we can get that one in this particular tour. Um, we have long-tailed tyrants that are cute little birds around there, and this is the only place also in this particular tour where we can get masked water tyrants. Plumbeous rails are around because we are actually stopping in a wetland, trying to build up the list, but also, as you can see, we can find some of the cool birds around that Brazil has got on the way. This is a Rufous ornero. I just wanted to show you how it builds the nest, this ornero. And you may be very familiar with black-bellied whistling ducks. Well, this is the Brazilian counterpart. The white-faced whistling ducks are really, really cool to watch. Another of the specialists of these wetlands is a yellow-chinned spinetail. And when we move on, we will hit the coast. This is the ocean in the background, and this is a burrowing owl that it is right after we did some birding in these particular areas here, trying to collect those common birds and a couple of rarities that are, for instance, a marsh anwren that it is super localized. It's basically only here. We take the road and we move down here, and this is what I was telling you. I just want to show you the topography of this area. The areas that we are is in a high plateau, and we go in this very winding road all the way down to the coast. And notice how after we hit the forested areas, the forest goes all the way down to the coastline basically, and we arrive to the city of Ubatuba, where we'll spend 3 nights. So we will bird 3 nights in the lowlands, and then 3 nights in the highlands. Once we get to Ubatuba, that is this beautiful place in the coast, you will see that the scenery is just fantastic. This is the coastal area of Ubatuba, in kind of a gray day, but with blue skies is just magnific. You can see how here the forest basically goes all the way down to the sea. It's a very nice place. I was there with my wife a few years back. It's one of my favorite places, as I told you. Uh, we're enjoying the coastline of Brazil in here. This is my wife, Paola. And this place here, the southeast of Brazil, is very, very famous for a nice group of birds, the tanagers. And probably the one that people want to see the most when they come here is this one, the red-necked tanager. It's just a bit too much. It's very, very colorful, gaudy, beautiful bird. But Brazilian tanager, it's another of the bright birds that you can find in these areas. This tour is great because we have a great chance to photograph things like this, because we visit feeders and get the stuff like those previous tanagers and this green-headed tanager, or even burnished buff tanager. This is a male of that one. The feeders here are magnific. That's why people that love photography have a great time in this tour. This is a Brazilian endemic. It's called Azure Shoulder Tanager. And in this short tour that is only 7 nights, we can have the possibility to get up to 65 species of endemic birds of Brazil. Not this one. This is widely distributed. Is a mango, black-throated mango, because the hummingbirds are also outstanding in southeast of Brazil. This is a festive coquette. If you split it, is endemic to Brazil as well. And yeah, as I told you, we have a chance to photograph quite a lot and spend some time at the feeders and get stuff like this other one, another endemic, the saw-billed hermit. Look at that bill. It's very unlike other hummingbirds. It's a huge, very strong bill, as you can see. This is a big target, believe it or not. It's a somber hummingbird, Brazilian endemic. You'll hear me saying the word endemic quite a bit because these areas are just filled with endemism. This is not one of the cases. This is a swallow-tailed hummingbird that occurs in a couple other places as well. This is a violet cap wood nymph, being delighted at the feeders, the same with the white-chin sapphire. And there is a place that this guy just lets everybody into his garden and shares with him these beautiful feeders, and you can spend some time. There is Jonas's house, very famous in this Estrada of Folha Seca. Let me put you on the map. This is the city of Ubatuba, and we go down here to bird. Just here you can see that this is a forested road. This is the Estrada of Folha Seca here. Notice how much forest is around still in these areas. Another of the big groups that people want to see the most when they come to Southeast Brazil, that's why they're special, is the antbirds. I don't really have good pictures of antbirds. I'm using these pictures that are really good from Nick Athanas, so thanks Nick for this. That was a ferruginous antbird, and this is an ochre-rumped antbird, and this is a scaled antbird, another of the endemics of Brazil. So this is a spot-breasted ant vireo in this big group of antbirds that are special to Southeast Brazil. Apart from these main 3 groups, tanagers, hummingbirds, and antbirds, there is a bunch of specialties that in these areas are really sought after, like this bellbird, the bare-throated bellbird. That is hard to get to see well. Normally it sits up in the canopy and is difficult to photograph, but you can really hear this bird. And we can get also black-cheeked gnat-eaters that are amongst my favorite subjects to photograph in Brazil. We spend, as I told you, quite a bit of time photographing because it is very easy to do that in this tour without sacrificing seeing new birds. So yeah, the other birds that people really like in these areas are the blue manakins, and we hit several legs for this one. Also called swallow-tailed manakin, as you can see in here. Crescent-chested puffbirds are also endemic to Brazil, and this is an Atlantic forest specialist and also endemic to Brazil, the gray-hooded Attila, a nice flycatcher. Plain parakeets as well, endemic to Brazil. And this bird here is one of my favorite birds in terms of the songs. It's actually a tapaculo. This tapaculo is not super special visually, but hear this sound out, okay? It's one of my favorite songs. Yeah, is a really, really cool bird, this one here. You can hear that across the valley, and this song is just sensational. Yeah, so let's continue with the bossa nova from Brazil I was playing. So continuing, we can get other things like this white-throated, is a yellow-throated version of white-throated spadebill, and bar-breasted piculets around, and sometimes we get them in the nests. We visit another spot in the same region, but it is on the other side of Ubatuba. When we do this ride, we run into probably 50 speed bumps. It's quite annoying. But we visit this particular spot after a couple of specific endemic birds that are just very, very nice and difficult to get in other places. We're talking about spotted bamboo wren. This is another of Nick Athana's pictures. It's a quite difficult bird to get. It's also a tapaculo. And this is the main target there. This is a buff-throated purple tuft. Tiny, like tiny. Probably 3-4 inches, but it sits up in the top of this tall forest. It's really hard to get, so photos are very, very difficult. Another of the endemics, the orange-eyed thornbirds are cool there. It's a good place to get a white-necked hawk, which is also endemic to Brazil. And then there's a group. After 3 nights spent in the city, in the area of Ubatuba, when we visit back and forth areas like these and go to the feeders quite a bit, we move for about 2 hours through the coast and enjoy the landscapes you will see in order to get to this particular spot here, Pereque. But we do this really early in the morning, so that we can reach this area that it is not too close. I just want to show you how our group enjoys some birding here in the coast, getting some spoonbills and that. But look at the scenery. The shoreline of Brazil is just absolutely spectacular. Yeah, this is really early in the day. We just did a quick bathroom stop for in the middle of the road. But this is the very main target of this particular ride here, the black-hooded ant wren. And basically the whole distribution of this bird in the world is this. That's it. It's a very difficult bird to find, quite localized. Other things that we can get there are probably my favorite bird of Southeast Brazil. This is the frilled coquette. This is one of the main places to get this frilled coquette. Is just a stunning hummingbird. It's another Brazilian endemic, of course. Look at this, just breathtaking. We can get lemon-chested greenlets, which also it might get a split soon, and it is called the Rio de Janeiro greenlet. I think if it gets a split, endemic to Brazil as well. Robust woodpecker is one of my favorite birds. It's one of the best places to get it, there in Pereque. The same bird here, just a cool bird. And another of the nice woodpeckers, the golden-fronted woodpecker. Sometimes it visits feeders, and we can get pictures like this. Again, antbirds in the lowlands are very, very cool. This is a spot-backed ant shrike. It's a big, big bird, and it is an amazing one. Another of the endemic birds of Brazil, this scalloped antbird, is in the same area. Okay, so now we are done with the lowlands and we're gonna move into the highlands. So from here we continue on the road and at some point through another very winding road we climb up here, go through the dry plateau over here and finish up in another mountain range that it is the first declared national park of Brazil, the Itatiaia National Park. We go through the city of Itatiaia, but we basically go up this hill here and enter the national park. The hotel, happily, is inside the national park. It's called the Hotel Doipe. Um, when we go in, we can stop for some scenery shots, but you can see how it changed dramatically the ecosystem and the environment. The views is just different now, and it can get quite cold. So we go from shorts and short sleeves to some more warm clothes, I can say. But this is the hotel. It's a very interesting hotel. It's pretty old, but it is just very, very nice to be in. It's one of the places that I enjoy the most. This kind of European building is quite interesting. We take one of these huts each. But more than anything, this hotel is famous for the feeders that the hotel has. And these are the grounds of the hotel. It's just a cool place to be at. Food is sensational. It's really, really good as a buffet. It's a typical thing of Brazil. You tend to have buffets all over the place, so you tend to gain a lot of weight. And the same thing with the tanagers. They are fat because they get fed here. And here we can see an example of a green-headed tanagers being fed, but I'll show you all the things that get fed in here in these balconies. Just incredible. We can start with black goggle tanagers, very cool. And this is another of the endemics of Brazil. This is the brassy-breasted tanager. It can be around, even though this one hardly gets fed in this, goes to these feeders here, but it is in the area. It's one of my favorite tanagers of the area. We can also get here Brazilian tanager, and that one does go to the feeders. So we spend a lot more time photographing and that during the downtime when we're not on the trails trying to find some rarities. We can spend time photographing chestnut-bellied euphonias as they shout back at us. The same with fawn-breasted tanagers. They are really cool, typical feeder birds in here. And another of the endemics that also gets fed here is these golden chevron tanager. Green-headed tanager, we already saw them in the lowlands, but why not seeing them again and getting them with a different light? Beautiful, eh? This is a different subspecies of magpie tanager compared to the one that you can get in the Amazon. It's a bit different on the back particularly, and it also visits the feeders here. And this yellow-green tanager belongs now to a smaller family of tanagers that got split from the normal Traupidae family. It's another endemic of Brazil that comes here to the feeders. Ruby crown tanager. I got really, really lucky. After 5 years of not seeing the crest at all, I got this picture with this bird that cooperated quite well. Very nice, eh? Another endemic of Brazil, rufous-headed tanager. This is the male, outstanding bird. Very cool, very cool. So you see, so far, only tanagers. It's a big group here in Southeast Brazil. Is a more widely distributed of the tanagers that we can still see around. This is the female and this is the male. Swallow tanagers. Again, the golden chevron tanager, this time is a male. And this is also one of the best spots to get this frill coquette. This was my first picture of the frill coquette with a older camera. But then the hummingbirds here are also quite special. A lot of people are well familiar with white-necked Jacobin, but not with black Jacobin. So for those people, this is a big target. This is a very cool bird, the black Jacobin. Brazilian ruby, male, also visits feeders here. So we have picked up a few new hummingbirds for the area. We can also get the black-eared fairy and this scale-throated hermit eventually, and white-throated hummingbirds. They all go to the feeders in here. And also birds that visit the feeders right around the hotel. So this is, we have not left the hotel yet, the first morning, and we can get these maroon-bellied parakeets, and we can get yelled at by red-rumped caciques. And this is a really cool bird. It's one of the big targets for most people. This, we all obviously got it on our t-shirts now. Look for a t-shirt when you find us next. We can get you one of these t-shirts. This is a Aracari banana, or saffron toucanet. And also just around the grounds of the hotel, by night, we have this tawny-browed owl that hoots around the cabins. That's a very cool bird to find. Still, we have not left the hotel grounds, so we can get red-bellied toucans and a ton of dusky-legged guans. Slaty-breasted wood rails move around the grounds and the parking lot, and another of the Brazilian endemics can just be in the parking lot as well. This is the velvety black tyrant, female and male. And then we go into the trails. This is a bamboo-dominated area, and it creates a great habitat for a few specific things that go into bamboo, like this star-throated ant wren and white-bibbed antbird. And we look for a ton of things that are related to bamboo in here, including this guy here, a black-billed scythebill. Chestnut-cap beccards are around. This is another big target and is hard to find. We didn't see it in our last tour that I went. There's a swallow-tailed cotinga. Is the only picture that I got when it was on a nest a couple of years back. And this is a gray-hooded flycatcher. When we move inside the forest, we tend to find things like this. Together with another of the endemic of Brazil is the Serra tyrant manakin, or also called Serra do Mar tyrant manakin. Surukua trogon, is really cool bird to find. The Surukua means trogon, so this is actually called a trogon. And yellow-legged thrush are around in these forests in the highlands. One day from here, from the hotel, in which also we spend 3 nights at, dividing the tour in highlands and lowlands, remember, we go to this particular spot that it is even higher, that is called the Algulas Negras. And this road here holds a bunch of specialties. Being much higher up, it is the main place for Itachiaya spinetail or thistletail, one of the few places to get that one. And this is my favorite that we get in the area. Yeah. Such a cool bird, eh? This is called the green-crowned plover crest, recently split, and this is also endemic to Brazil. It's a beautiful bird. We start getting a couple other endemics, this bay-chested warbling finch and the buff-throated warbling finch, both endemic to Brazil. Same guy here in these higher elevation areas. And of course, tanagers. This is the diadem tanagers, one of the coolest tanagers that we have in this area. And there is a couple of antbirds that are in highlands only here. This is the giant antshrike, really, really big, massive bird. Another of the big ones here, the large-tailed antshrike as well. Another of the endemics of Brazil is the best spot that we have to get these rufous-backed ant vireo. And I don't get a picture, but also there's a pipritis that we can get in here that it is also the best place for that. Again, Nick Athanas pictures, the previous one and this one as well, the rufous-tailed ant bird. And another endemic of Brazil, the Serra do Mar tyranniolect. They are all specials in this particular area in the top parts of the Itatiaia National Park. Together with yellow-browed woodpecker, again endemic to Brazil. Now, we move to another spot. So, this is the hotel area that we have been, and these areas here are the Algulas Negras that we did a day tour here. And we are ready to finish the tour, and for that we go down towards Sao Paulo back and visit some of these dry areas here in these valleys where we can get a bunch of really cool stuff to finish the tour in a high note, including this red-legged Seriema that sometimes wanders around the roads. Is a really cool bird. Look at this bird with lipstick, very cool, eh? This is another of Brazil's endemic, the cinnamon tanager. Coral-crested jays were amongst the favorite birds of the tour in my previous tour, voted like that. And another endemic to Brazil, the half-colored sparrow is there. Planalto hermits around, and sapphire-spangled emeralds around in these dry areas, together with tawny-headed swallows. So we are about to finish the tour, and for that one we'll leave this one to the end, the white eared puffbird. So like that, we just finished the tour, taking a long ride that it is about 4 hours back to the big city of Sao Paulo, and the tour actually ends at the airport of Guarulhos, where we just basically say goodbye. This is a short tour that is a great complement to what we have done already, that is the Pantanal. If you haven't seen that virtual tour, please go ahead and watch that one. And together with the Southeast Brazil, we link together the Pantanal. And that has been it. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this tour. Come with me whenever you have a chance.